Don't forget the bottle picks later.
The what?
Bottle picks.
Oh.
Dun, 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 dun.
Welcome to AM Whiskey. I'm Aaron, and this is Mark. And today we're doing something a little different. Normally we do bourbon on this channel, but we did call it AM Whiskey for a reason because somebody, I'm not going to mention any names, somebody also really likes Irish whiskey. And he's been telling me that,
Who are you pointing to?
really need to try this Irish whiskey. So today we're going to try Redbreast single pot still Irish whiskey number 12. Hopefully it's better than those shots of Jameson I was doing in college.
Oh, it's definitely a lot better than shots of Jameson. The other part is that you're not shooting this, you're just drinking it. So this is
True.
it's an 80 proofer, right? It's intro to Irish whiskey. It's pot still. It's going to be a little different than bourbon. When you look at the color, it's
Much lighter.
much more honey colored.
Much brighter on the nose.
Yes.
A lot of fresh flavor or
fresh
scents
fruit
coming out.
Yeah.
Just freshness. I don't know. That's not a scent,
It's just
but
not-
it's very.
It's not dark.
Yeah,
It's
it is
bright.
not dark. It is bright. It is fresh.
Yeah.
There's apple. There's like apricot. There's just.
Mhm. And it does have a good complex nose.
Oh yeah, there's a lot. I mean,
There's a lot going
it's
on.
a 12-year now. Irish whiskey, Scotch. They age longer. It's a cooler climate, so
It
it
takes
takes longer to age. I'm guessing that I'm not going to get as much oak notes on this as I would on a bourbon that's aged 12 years.
I think that's part of the climate difference. Is it takes longer to impart those oak notes
Right.
into the liqueur, right, or the whiskey. And so this is, on the nose, I really can't, maybe a very faint note of wood. It's not really present. It's more floral. It's more bright fruit.
I mean, I'm going to say on the nose, I'm giving it a 7. I like the nose.
Yeah,
It's
I do too.
not my typical, I mean, you can smell it and know that it's not a bourbon, or at least I wouldn't think it's a bourbon.
Yeah.
But it's pleasant.
I'm gonna give it a 7.5 because it gravitates towards me. Like, I like those fruity, bright, sweet notes. It just doesn't compare to a bourbon. It's completely
No,
different.
it's different.
But maybe a little Buffalo Tracy, but not really.
Yeah, I mean there's no way I would confuse this for Buffalo Trace.
No.
It's just a completely different. Like, it's got that lighter, sweeter note. There is not a hint of ethanol coming off of this. This is.
There's no ethanol. There's no spice, and there's not really any wood.
Ooh.
Palate's good.
I got some honey right up front, and then it hit me with like a pear note.
Mm-hmm. It's very sweet forward, and there's a few different notes going on.
You can tell it's not very proofy. There's definitely like, I get that flavor up front, and then I kind of get like a watery backing.
So this is an 80 proofer, right?
Yeah.
So there is no proof, but there's a decent amount of flavor.
Oh, there's definitely flavor. Just for some reason on the back palate, it gets kind of thin and watery to me.
Oh yeah, that's the 80 shining through. Yeah.
It's right up front. I get all kinds of that sweetness, crispness, just coming through. Like I said, some honey, a little bit of vanilla, some pear. Go for a
I like the
second shot.
palate. Yeah, it's not. It is thin, but it's got good flavor. If you like sweet notes without the spice, without the wood, this is a hell of a drinker. Now this is a $60-$70 bottle, right? It ain't cheap, but it's a good drinker.
Yeah, I think on the palate, I'm going to go 16.5. I like it.
I'm going the same score. I agree with you.
Finish is where it falls a little flat for me.
That's where it's going to get hit.
I think I'm going to go a 3.5.
I'm going to go 4. The
Maybe being a little harsh.
Fruit does hang a little bit for me. It's very, very faint. It's not punchy. It's very subtle and delicate.
Yeah, delicate's a good word. It's got good flavors. This is, again, a whiskey that I could drink anytime. 100-degree heat and you want to have some whiskey, could definitely do this. I'm not going to be drinking a Pappy at 100 degrees. That's just not going to be my go-to. But this, I could definitely see it.
Price and availability. I'm giving it a 7.
How much is it?
$65-$70. If you're look, there are probably some liquor stores that are going to charge $79 for this, maybe almost $80. They're overcharging. You go to a big box store, Walmart, Target, Meijer, whatever other big box, you should be able to find this in the mid-upper 60s. When it goes on sale, maybe mid-low 60s. I think at that point, it's a pretty good deal. I went 7. I went 7 because you should be able to find it nationwide.
I went 7.5. I definitely think that's a decent price for this bottle. And I have seen it pretty much every liquor store I've gone into. They have it. I know that if I want to pick up this bottle, I can go get it right now. So that's good. The price is good.
It's not a cheap bottle, though.
Well, it's not a cheap bottle, but right now, there's no cheap bottles. I mean,
yeah,
it's a decent whiskey.
I hope to God you like Four Roses or Old Forester, like normal $20 bottles, and that's your thing.
I mean,
because that's the only stuff that's available.
Wild Turkey 101, Evan Williams Bottled and Bonds.
Well,
you're looking for that low price tier. There's still some good low price tier whiskeys,
but even those have raised
they're
$3,
coming
$4,
up.
$5.
You can still find them fairly cheap, but for a quality, and again, those are quality bottles, but for that little step up, a little more complex, a little more age to them, you're going to be paying in that $50 to $70 range. That's kind of a sweet spot, I think, for a bottle. If you're paying that much, you should be getting a fairly decent bourbon. Hell, some of these bourbons are going for $100, $120 a bottle.
This nose is so good.
And I know
I could smell this forever.
I know some of these aren't too cheap, just like Scotch.
I ended up with a 35.
I don't know that these go as high as Scotch. Maybe.
No.
I don't know. But there's definitely no peat to this, and that's one of the things that I worry about when we start talking about European whiskeys.
We should do a review of Scotch, and several of them, and even gravitate into that peated stuff that neither you and I like.
Hey, let's do it. We won't like it, but we'll do it because we like you. And on that note, why don't you like us? It doesn't cost you anything. Little thumbs up there helps us out a ton. Doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to help us out a little bit more, leave a comment. The YouTube's little algorithm likes a comment a little bit better than it likes that thumbs up. And if you really want to help us out, subscribe. YouTube algorithm likes that even more. So,
thank you very much for your participation and your support. Keep the whiskey flowing.
And have a great night.